Good morning. Well, it'll be evening by the time you see this. My name is Dr. Fami Iwa from Montgomery Fertility Center, and I am very pleased to be giving this speech. I apologize for not being present with you. I want to sort of look at things from your perspective, and you are where I was many, many, many moons ago, and looking in and trying to get into medical school. And what would I tell you, or what would I tell myself? Were I in your shoes? The first thing is you are here, you are aspiring, so kudos to that. That's really good. You've gotten this far. I would like to say that really I'd love to give a speech that's in three parts, but I'm only going to be able to tackle one part today. The first part is how do I get to medical school from the point of view of a pre-medical student. The second part is now I'm in medical school. How do I get through medical school? So call me when you get to medical school and we'll give this other talk. The third part is what do I do after medical school? I'm going to residency, wherever training you want to do. What do I do? What are the issues to deal with? How do I tackle it? And as you can see, those are three separate conversations that I think we need to have. But I'm going to focus on the conversation we're going to have today, being how do I get to medical school, right? So you are there, you're a pre-med student. I think to get in medical school, there are three key components of medical school. Well, actually, four. The first one is why do you want to go to medical school? You have a dream, you want to go to medical school, you want to be a doctor. You need to know why. Why do you want to be on this course? For my why, I wanted to go to medical school ever since I was a child. I knew I was at age probably 8, 9 that I was going to be a doctor. It was a fact for me. There was no other consideration or anything. So I was sort of laser focused on that. But it doesn't mean you have to know from kindergarten that you want to be a physician. Wherever you are in life and you decide you want to be a doctor, the question is why. You know your why, whatever why that is. For me, it was just a love of the human body. I was the one at home trying to pick people's boils off, I took care of my mom when she was sick. I took care of incisions. I changed dressings. Blood never fazed me. I was just fascinated with the human body. And then as I studied, I grew in love with science and then the science of the human body, period. That's why I wanted to go into medical school. Along the way, also, I fell in love with helping people. I have the gift for that. I like to talk. So you combine that love for human body, love for talking, love for caring about patients. I was in heaven. Know your why. Now, what do I mean by that? Your why cannot come from your parents. Those are external whys. If you have an external why pushing you, it will not hold you up because the road's going to get hard. There'll be trials, there'll be tribulations. But if your why is coming from your own internal combustion engine, you will steamroll over any problem, any obstacle. You will find a way around it, over it, or through it. You will overcome if your why is coming from the inside. Now, part of the why is, do I mean you need to know if you're going to be a radiologist or a dermatologist? Who cares about that? You don't need to know the specifics. That will all fall into place. For me, I am an infertility specialist. I liked everything in medical school. I actually probably would have been wonderful at cardiology. I loved it. I had a great mentor who was a cardiologist. I wanted to be like her, but I did not like internal medicine. I liked the field of psychiatry. It was a little boring for me. I liked the thought of being a radiologist because I thought about the easy lifestyle. So I took a lot of radiology electives and I was bored to tears. So I couldn't do that. I loved pediatrics, but it wasn't going to work because I couldn't stand to see children in pain. So I was always crying over them. Now we have a problem if the children are trying to comfort me. That's not the way it's supposed to be. So I couldn't do that. Surgery I liked. Didn't like the thought of what 6, 7 years of surgery and then needing to look at a subspecialty later on. But Surgery I love. I mean, I love being in the operating room, cutting. You could zoning, totally lose time when you're in the operating room. So now we have a problem. What specialty do I pick? So I asked myself, what do I enjoy? What do I love doing? And the minute I asked that question, the light bulb went off. Boom! I love delivering babies. I love OB. I love taking care of women's issues. So I knew I was going to go into OBGYN, and I didn't make that decision till probably end of third year of medical school. Now, why did I go into infertility? Reproductive endocrinology, to be specific. Love science, love the machinery of science, understanding, taking a deeper dive into the science of reproduction. So it was fascinating for me. So it was a no-brainer. So I went into that field, did years and years of research at NIH, loved it. Would have stayed on in research or something similar. Looked at industry, could also go into industry. I was offered a position as medical director for the female section of a large pharmaceutical firm. I also got a position at FDA, but then I loved patient care more. So I figured, no, I think I'll go into private practice where I can still get my hands on patient care. And you never know. Maybe when I get older, I might decide I'll go back to more academia, like, or a regulatory part of medicine, or more paperwork. But those are my footsteps. Now, what footsteps can you take? First, I would say you find out your why. Why do you want to do this? It has to be your own. Okay. Now, when you're trying to get into medical school, three things medical schools look at. Number one, your grades. Of course, you got to have good grades. MCAT, you have a game plan for the MCAT. And then, who are you? What kind of person are you? They want to know who you are. Will you hold up to the rigors of medicine? What kind of person are you going to shape out to be? And that all boils down to you, like your personality, your attitude. So first off, let me just tackle those three steps. Grades. You're doing your best. Study hard. Have a study buddy or study group. Help each other. It's not a zero sum. The more I do, the better I do, the less you're gonna do. No, it doesn't work that way. We can all do well. Look to your right, look to your left. Whoever is there, you say, we'll get through this together. Those are your study buddies. Help each other. Study together. Hold each other accountable. Hey, Jane, you said you were going to get done with evaluating the digestive system. How far are you in that? Hold each other accountable. Help each other up. Have a study buddy. Have a study group that you can check in on each other up. Number two, for your MCAT plan. Oh, before I go to that, grades. If for whatever reason you feel that your grades are not up to snuff, then you might want to seriously consider one of the master's programs. There's sort of the in-between programs that prepare you specifically for medical school. I know Johns Hopkins has one, Georgetown has one, Drexel University has one, and I'm sure there are so many others. I'm not a big advocate for those because number one, it's just more time and more money, right? Who needs to spend more money and take out more loans? So if you can do it right the first time, I don't think you need to do those. But if you think that you don't quite have it where you need to be, then go do one of those and do really well to show them that you have the academic chess part to survive medical school. Now, for the MCATs, I would encourage you, I'm sure you guys already know, either take the Kaplan, and then there's something called UWorld that other students have told me help them because they give you challenging questions. And also if you can have access to question banks, that will help you prepare. On the note of the MCAT, I don't think you should take it if you are not ready. And you'll know inside of you when you're ready for an exam or not. If the tips, facts, spilling off your, pores and at your fingertips. If you don't feel prepared, please don't take it. Because then you may not do as well. And there are some schools that kind of frown on you taking it multiple times. So make sure you're fully prepared. Know yourself. Now, In that regard, I'll just give you an experience of another patient of another mentee of mine. She took it when she was not quite ready because her parents insisted, "Go ahead, what are you doing? Come on, let's get this thing done." So to get them off her back, she took it, and she didn't do well. I know she wants to be a doctor from her own impetus, but also her parents also have their own goals for her, and she's brave and she's resisting them, and she has to do things at her own pace. So yes, you need your family to help you, but not push you when you're not quite ready. Then the other part is, who are you? I know people who've scored in the 95th percentile in the MCATs and have GPAs that are phenomenal, right? And they can't get in. And then I look at, who are they? Where are they lacking? Character. What have you done to show that you're actually this is going to be a good fit for you? If you decide you want to either volunteer or, and we'll talk about different opportunities, work for as a scribe or work as a medical assistant, you can work as a medical assistant. There are different avenues. How do you show up? Do you show up ready to participate, ready to contribute, or are you there just sort of warming the chair and you need to be told, hey, can you check this? Can you do that? And then, come 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock when time's up, you're ready. You're out of there, right? Or do you show up the last person to come to work, or when everybody's working? Why are you there, right? So if you're going to, and you can apply as a medical scribe. One thing people don't also know is you can apply as a medical assistant, right? You're an assistant, and you're going to be taught. You'll be taught a lot of things. You can apply as a medical assistant, or you can simply volunteer, or you can go, you can go up and say, "I'd like to volunteer, hospitals, doctors' offices, surgery centers." But then, how do you show up when you show up? I've had students that I've hired who would come in, and I tell them, "Well, this is what you're supposed to do," right? And while they're waiting to do that, if nothing else is going on, or if we're not ready for them to do that yet, they just sort of sit, maybe look at Facebook on the computer, and they're sitting, and the phone's ringing right next to them. Or, if somebody comes in and says, "Oh, I need to speak to the office manager. Do you know where he is?" Or, "I need to drop this off for Dr. Kwame, or can you help me?" And they're just sitting. Well, that's not my job, so I'll just wait for someone else to show up and take care of that. You're not part of a team. You don't belong, right? Nobody owes you anything. You need to show up and say, "I belong. I'm part of the team, your family. I'm going to help you, I'm going to help this ship sail and do well." And I love people like that. They show up, they're part of the team. And when they don't have anything to do, instead of getting on Facebook or their cell phone, they'll come up. "How can I help you? What can I help you do? Can I help you file something? Can I help you scan? Can I help you arrange something? Can I, or, get up and go tidy the waiting room?" Show that you belong. Show that you care about what we're trying to do, and that you're helping us achieve what we're trying to do. And if you have to leave at a certain time, you can say, "Hey, I'm so sorry, I can't stay over today. I have these obligations." But if you can, and you see that there's a ton of work to be done still, invite yourself to do it. Don't wait to be invited, because they do take note. What you show up as matters. Your enthusiasm matters. Ooh, number one, when you show up, are you Miss or Mr. Blumface? Or do you come up with, "Wow, I'm here today. I love being here. I want to," I don't want to be around a gloomy, negative person that won't smile, right? Most people don't. You want to be part of the team. You want to radiate positive energy that people want to be around you. Those create memorable impressions of you, so that when you ask for letters of recommendation, I can now go to bat for you. Wow, Jane Smith, when she showed up, incredible, outstanding, a team player, looked out for her teammate, cared about the patients, cared about the quality of her work, asked, was teachable, was willing to learn, would go research topics on her own, ask questions. I will go to bat for you on that letter of recommendation. And so will anyone else, right? It doesn't matter what you do. Show up, make a difference where you are. You've got those three things, you will get it. Okay? So now, when you are looking for what to do in summer, I looked at two avenues that I could talk about. Number one, clinical, right? Everybody does that. I already talked a little about that. That applies. All right, I apologize. I had to truncate that first talk I gave you. So I'm going to conclude by saying, what can you do in summer? What are the opportunities there? We already explored the clinical side, and I think opportunities abound as long as you have imagination. The other part is be part of research. If you want to do research, there are a lot of ways you can prepare yourself. One of the ways to do it, there is a program that Hopkins has. Now, I'm using Hopkins because I happen to know their program, but I'm sure there are other schools that have similar. And it's a class that teaches you hands-on how to do basic science research. I love basic science research. Love, 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 love. Anyway, how do you tackle things in the lab? How do you do a qPCR? How do you make slides? How do you make sections? How do you do Western blots if you have to? So you can learn the mechanics of what to do in the lab by taking this class at Johns Hopkins and any other school that offers such a thing. Now, once you have this under your belt, it's about, I think, a month. You can apply to the summer program at NIH. Now, you've shown that you have some skills that you can apply in the lab, and they'll probably teach you, guide you if you get in. What you have to do is look at different scientists' research, see what they're working on, what piques your interest, um, read about it, and approach them, right? Now, of course, you're going to get a lot of no's. Who doesn't? But it only takes one yes, remember? Now, aside from the NIH, has anyone ever looked up the 270 corridor? It's filled with a lot of biochemical companies, biopharmaceutical, your genetics, genomics, everything. It's all along 270. Take a drive down 270. Go there, knock on the door. Hey, I'd like to shadow somebody. Or do you guys accept high school student or college student interns? You would be surprised when they say yes, yes, yes. You only need one yes. And they will teach you. They'll teach you stuff. You will learn from them. Again, show up, be ready to learn, be ready to work. Don't be looking for the fastest exit out the door come closing time, right? Show up, be ready to work, ready to learn. You'll be surprised what you can learn from them. But so that's one opportunity to pursue. And that you can use that if you don't get into, say, NIH the first time or any of the rigorous research-based academic summer programs the first time. You can use the summer class you took to learn about basic sciences. B, if you've worked at Pfizer or Naviance or any other genomics companies over the summer, you can leverage that and say, whoa, look, I showed interest. Look what I've done. I have learned how to sequence. I have learned qPCR. I worked with such and such a scientist or person, and I have these technical skills. Now, I noticed that you're studying XYZ. I'd like to participate. Maybe if I have an opportunity to be able to use some of the skills I have cultivated. So that is sweet music to people's ears. Pretend you're the person on the other end and looking in. What do they want to see? Anyway, so I've been talking for a little while. I hope I have given you some nuggets. I deliberately did not include certain things in this talk because then I think we'll be here for over an hour. However, I am more than happy to have a part two of that talk to spur you on. Now that you got in, What do you want to do with your medical training? You got to also have a game plan for when you're in medical school. I think it's a fascinating world out there. Go conquer it. Again, congratulations for your trip this far, and I wish you all the success from the bottom of my heart. Dr. Van Leeuwen.